Has Aidan sent the Burden of Dreams replica? And if not, how's it going?
No, I've not. It's really hard. I think it's probably harder than the actual thing. Or the texture is definitely worse anyway. I think the bottom section is maybe comparable just because friction plays a little bit less of a role. Certainly like the middle, like the match and like the stab into the pinch is like less important. The move, which I think probably doesn't go on the replica, is the last one, just because last hold is kind of like flat, or like it's like that's kind of the hold where you rely most on texture, and like on the actual climb, hanging in that last position is kind of like super like fine, like it's pretty chilled. I could only just hang off the like hang in that position on the replica. So I think to actually do that move would be so hard.
This is the dyno to the lip.
Yeah, the dyno to like that like rail, which is surprisingly sloping. But I think I might try and get that retextured. I have some friends in Sheffield who retexture old holds.
Oh wow!
So I might try and see if it can put some texturing on it, just to make it a bit more. Yeah, similar. Actually, that's a good reminder. I'll get to that. But yeah, no, I haven't sent it. But I have actually made some good breakthroughs just by feeling the holding holds differently and things, which has been cool.
You said the first move is probably one of the hardest moves you've ever tried or done on rock or seen, like a V13, maybe even V14 move. Bruno wants to know, with something like Burden that's just 4 or 5 really difficult moves, just how hard are some of those moves? And he wanted to know specifically, or no, this was from Andre, the first move and the last move. How would you grade those two moves? You already talked about the first one, but on the actual climb, is the last move the second hardest move, or?
For me it was, but interestingly for Sean, that was like the second easiest move. I'm pretty sure he found the last move pretty fine. It depends on your skill set. Like definitely less good at, like, it is kind of like a jump and you catch it in like a 3-finger drag, which is definitely my weakest grip position. And also that style of movement is something I'm not as good at.
That's kind of Sean's superpower.
Yeah, he's amazing in a 3-finger drag. He takes a one-arm swing on that hold. It's not that good. But yeah, no, so I'm definitely aware that was a limitation for me. Yeah, I'd say if the first move was 8B or 8B plus, or V13, V14, the last move it would be at least V11, V12 kind of thing, I imagine, just as like a one mover. For me, that was definitely the second hardest move. I didn't actually find the middle moves too bad, or I think I linked from the first move, I linked quite quickly to setting up for the last move.
How hard would you say that link is for you?
The middle link? That's probably, the middle link is probably like pulling on from having done the first move to setting up to the last move is probably 8B. Maybe, probably about, V13 again. Probably something like that. But yeah, I imagine that'll be harder once you've done the first move as well.
Sure. Yeah, sure.
I'm quite excited to go back and try that thing.
Yeah, when do you think you will?
Well, I think potentially I've been discussing the idea of going with Sean this spring. So I think when I go out to Europe, to Switzerland, I think he might come out as well at some point. We've got very vague plans, but I think it'll be like the case of like he'll be out in Europe and like we'll just keep an eye on the weather window, and if it looks good, go up. And it'd be really nice to try it with someone. I really like Sean's attitude as well. Or like it's really nice to project with him. He's like got a very like relaxed, playful approach to projecting, which is like,
he never seems stressed, that guy.
Yeah, it's really nice to be surrounded by that. And he's very analytical about trying things, but like it's so nice. It feels like it maybe alleviates the like ego, which can be so commonly associated to like comparison between other climbers. It's kind of like, it feels like it feels quite liberating when it's just like, oh, this feels so relaxed.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's very, it's a lot of fun working clients with him.
Nice.
Yeah, I think obviously physically amazing, but I think I'm probably most inspired by his attitude. It'd be nice to go work with him anyway.
Yeah. Well, I've never climbed with you, but I feel like I could say all the same things about you. You just seem like you always have a really positive attitude, and I've never seen you look frustrated at all. I don't know what you're experiencing on the inside, but it seems like you bring a lot of positivity and good energy to trying hard things too. So it sounds like you guys make a good team.
Yeah, I don't usually secretly rage, but at the end of the day,
doesn't seem like it.
At the end of the day, you're doing something. You're having a lot of fun in a pretty amazing place. It's hard to be angry about that, isn't
it? Well, not for some people.
Yeah.
Nice work. We just knocked out 3 questions in about 5 minutes. Okay, we're on a good roll here. Let's switch over. We've got a category called board climbing. So I've got 2 questions about climbing on cellar boards or just board climbing in general. The first one is from Steven. Is it possible to get the value of a cellar board session at a commercial climbing gym with a spray wall? Do you have any thoughts or recommendations as far as that goes?
Oh, yeah. I guess spray walls, it's hard to know because they vary so much. Spray wall is just where it's just like a random mix of holds on the wall, right? And you make up your own problems.
Yeah, exactly.
They seem really good for comp climbing because people just make up crazy moves on them, and they're catching on a bit in the UK. I definitely think it depends really on the hold variety. Generally, if there's enough like variety, you can definitely have a good session on them. Maybe there are times when it's somewhat limited in that, like, obviously variety of holds usually means pretty big like macro volumes and stuff, and operating on small holds around stuff like that is sometimes quite difficult just because you end up like clattering your knuckles and like kind of like on like all the other massive holds
stuff.
Yeah, so that does happen a bit, but maybe that happens sometimes in rock as well in rare scenarios. I definitely think, yeah, it's hard to say in a general sense. I think for me and for anyone with a home board, it's like the flexibility to put what you want on it is kind of king, right? As in, like, you can consider what you want to do, and we spoke loads about this when the podcast episode we did back in October, like considering what you want to do and like what you want to get out of your training, and like kind of then setting your board to align well with that is like really valuable, because you obviously never get that in a climbing wall. So for me, usually how that looks is I'll make some climbing holds. I had a phase where I got into it a little bit and went kind of overcooked the difficulty of quite a few of them, so made some like concept crimps, but like that's been really that's been really good, because now like I put some of them on the board I've got in Sheffield with Jim, and like having that control, like I can put holds which like are so much worse than anything you'd ever get in like a no commercial gym would really like make stuff like that, or a hold company probably wouldn't make stuff like that, or like a gym wouldn't set that kind of thing. So that's really good, just because it gives you like, I have that like free reign over that scope.